Hey everyone, this is cousin Kitwana. We are wrapping up Jurassic Fly today with the final episode of this series, and what I'm gonna do today is to give you an overview of my entire Jurassic Park and Jurassic World toy collection. As you can see around me, there's a lot of stuff that has accumulated since my fascination for dinosaurs began back in 1993, and please understand that I will not be able to go into the details of each toy. Instead, since I actually already featured most of these toys that you can see around me, I'm going to give you links in the description of the video below to the respective episodes where I featured that toy. So please read through the description and go to the episodes of the toys that you are interested in. So to make this video short, I will give you a brief overview of what I have, and of course I will also try for some good dinosaur play fun here on my table with the loose dinosaurs that I have. So without further ado, I want to get right into it. I'm sure you already have set your eyes on the largest item that is visible right behind me, and that's what I showed you in episode number 72, the 5th scale Chronicle Collectibles Tyrannosaurus Rex Maquette, an original recast from the Stan Winston maquette that was used for production of the first Jurassic Park movie. This is a 7-foot long piece, $4,000, only 100 of them made, and weighs 200 pounds. And I don't think I have to explain to you that this is the piece that I am most proud of my collection. It's definitely the most valuable Jurassic Park collectible anywhere, and with Chronicle Collectibles being bankrupt now, the value is well, literally unpayable. It's I'm sure it's multiple times already past the retail value. This is a fascinating piece. It doesn't get any more authentic. This is T-Rex as we know and love him. And to think that such a creature really roamed our planet 65 million years ago, times 5 the size of my model, I think this is downright awesome. It's hard to find any words for it. It's really a fascinating. Dinosaurs are really something very fascinating. I also have another Chronicle Collectibles piece here on my table. This is the Breakout T-Rex, limited edition of 1000, and all of you Jurassic Park fans already recognize the scene where the T-Rex breaks the fence and breaks out of its habitat and is about to attack the tour vehicles. This is also a highly authentic sculpt of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the dinosaur that is fascinating so many dinosaur fans around the world, even though it is not the largest dinosaur that has ever lived. And we are travel back on memory lane, back to 1993, and I'll start with that toy that has ignited the love and fascination for dinosaurs with dozens of millions of kids and adults around the world. And the dinosaur madness definitely started with this toy, the 1993 Kenner Red Electronic T-Rex. I am sure many of you remember this box. It take a look at this fantastic diorama on the back. Wow, this is the toy that gives childhood memories to so many of us, including me. I remember I was in first grade when that released and Toys R Us came into Switzerland, and this was one of the first toys that I bought. So this has a really special value to me, and I'm happy that I actually got a sealed in box one. So this toy has a huge value to me, and it actually is very valuable. One in box runs you around $500. And I promised you some dinosaur playtime fun. Look at that, look at what I have here. An entire heavy box of my loose dinosaurs. And since we are talking about the 1993 Kenner Tyrannosaurus Rex, I want to start with that. I also do have the Jurassic Park gate from the Command compound set. Unfortunately only that. I do not have the defenses or any other parts anymore. But here is the T-Rex. Look at that. This was the first large-scale dinosaur toy for the Jurassic Park franchise back in 1993. I remember I was so fascinated with T-Rex back then when I saw it on the screen. I wanted to know and study each and every detail of it, and this model made it possible. It's clearly taken from the Stan Winston maquette, but the coloring isn't accurate. That's because of the fact the toy had to be developed about 1 to 2 years ahead of the premiere of Jurassic Park, so we weren't able to get everything right through to the animatronic T-Rex that we have seen in the movie. But still, this is a rather cool toy, and I've spent hours in my childhood playing with it, and I even did some dioramas in the past, some fun photos in the backyard of my dad's house. This figure comes with two sounds. One is activated by pressing the button on the left hand side of its body. And it gives a roar, and there's also a stomping activated sound. You just slam its feet against a hard surface. The sounds are unfortunately also not movie accurate, which is too bad. But they could not have known this when the toy had to be finalized, so that's okay. I mean, look at this figure, it looks really great. It's mostly made out of rubber except for the lower legs, and what you also can see is that mine is able to stand. That's pretty rare to find a Red Rex that is able to stand nowadays, and the tail is also not bent from the packaging. Instead it is curved rather nicely, like an authentic T-Rex tail, and so this figure has a huge value to me. It's definitely, I connect many childhood memories with this awesomely cool T-Rex. And of course T-Rex wasn't my only figure. I needed something for the T-Rex to attack and prey upon, and what better figure would serve this purpose than the Triceratops, which is also an official Kenner toy for the first movie. Rather large scale, and it does have a nice action feature. It has a head ramming attack when you squiff the sides of the body. And there's also a dino damage found here on the right hand side, which you can remove, and then you can see the bones of this bigger, awesome looking dinosaur. And it is known that in the real world T-Rex did prey upon Triceratops, or like this, because the T-Rex had a huge bite, and it probably bit Triceratops right into the neck. The Tyrannosaurus Rex wasn't the largest dinosaur ever alive, but was definitely the one with the largest bite force. In fact, it's no other animal until today had a bigger bite force than T-Rex. But sometimes it was also found that the Triceratops was the aggressor, despite it's a herbivore, and what it did was it would ram its head and slam its horns into the side of the T-Rex's body, scare it off, like this. And you probably can imagine that I played for hours and hours like that. T-Rex attacking Triceratops, and Triceratops attacking T-Rex. And what's interesting to know is that the Triceratops' horns aren't actually horns, but rather a direct extension of its bones, making them very, very sturdy. So it would have no problem to go like that, and definitely cause a lot of trouble for a T-Rex. These toys are also very nicely in scale, with the Triceratops body a bit too long in proportion to its head. But still, this is an awesome toy, definitely a classic. And it's so much fun to play with them. 28 years later, they are still sturdy classic toys, not to be missed in any Jurassic Park collection. Fast forward 4 years to the release of the second Jurassic Park movie, The Lost World, and Kenner, the Kenner Toy Company, still had the license for the official toys. The star of the Lost World toy line was definitely the Thrasher T-Rex. Another large-scale Tyrannosaurus, mostly made out of rubber, with excellent sculpting. I mean, look at that face and the body where you can even see the ribs. This is another typical childhood memories toy for me that which means a lot to me. And of course I actually have several loose Thrashers as well. The Thrasher T-Rex from The Lost World from 1997 was also a highly accurate T-Rex mold taken from the Stan Winston Maquette. That's definitely that typical Stan Winston face, and if you look closely you can see that I eventually customized this figure with bloody teeth at some point during my childhood, and you can see the ribs on the side of its body. That's really, really nice sculpting work. Awesome. Triceratops here, and of course this one also provided hours and hours of playtime fun. This Oh, look at that, how the mouth fits very nicely around the Triceratops' neck. And the legs are possible like this. And the arms are much more realistic than on the red Tyrannosaurus Rex. They are much more, they are not as spread out. It's really cool. And the Thrasher had also a feature that you could open its mouth, and then the tongue would spring in, would lock into position to hold a smaller dinosaur figure in its mouth. Then you could push the tongue down and the mouth would close a little bit. And I like the painted claws and everything. And when you move its tail side to side, the head would thrash, hence the name T-Rex. Look at that. Another Lost World toy was this Stegosaurus. I remember it had the code name Spike Tail for a reason. Comes with the dino damage wound. The part is somewhere in my box. It's easily falling off. But the action feature is really nice. You squeeze together one of its scales, and then the tail would move back and forth like this. And of course it does look much nicer on the left hand side. I'm not a big fan of this dino damage rounds, but I guess to each their own. So definitely would not want to miss the Stegosaurus either. And then we go forward another 4 years, and we are at what we have celebrated all this month long, Jurassic Park 3. And the main toy, the largest toy of this movie, and the best toy in my opinion, was the animatronic Spinosaurus. Look at that. If there's a dinosaur that would fit the term badass dinosaur, it would definitely be the Spinosaurus that was victorious in a fight with T-Rex in Jurassic Park 3, the most epic dinosaur fight, in my opinion, of the entire Jurassic Park franchise and Jurassic World franchise so far. And this is the toy of what we have seen on screen. The animatronic Spinosaurus definitely is one of my very favorite toys during the past 28 years since the franchise exists. I mean, look at that. It truly is a badass dinosaur, even though this model isn't scientifically correct. They only found out during the past 20 years that Spinosaurus likely had a more of a crocodile-like tail. That it lived in both terrestrial and aquatic environments. Also, the sail was likely not as perfectly round like on this model. But what this model is, it's definitely a screen-accurate replica of what we have seen in Jurassic Park 3, as it did fight the T-Rex, the most epic dinosaur fight ever so far in the franchise, if you ask me. And you were able to recreate that fight with the animatronic Spinosaurus, because the animatronic Spinosaurus really is animatronic, and it's got a couple of movements couple of buttons underneath his body. You can see the head moves. The mouth opens. This is such a cool figure. So yeah, there's 3 different buttons in this figure. One is on the neck, then on the right hand side of its body, where the dynamic round is, and another button is right here where the Jurassic Park logo is near its tail. Also not a big fan of this dynamic thing on its body, and there are speaker holes as well, but I have to say the left hand side looks so awesome. Look at that. And it's got, of course, the painted claws as well on its arms too, and this figure is a lot of fun to play with and battle the T-Rex. You can see it was quite a battery eater, the animatronic Spinosaurus. That was the downside of this figure. I actually installed fresh batteries, but well then, T-Rex wins, for that matter. The animatronic Spinosaurus isn't the only toy that I kept from Jurassic Park 3. There was also another highly authentic, great looking toy, and that's the Alpha Pteranodon. Look at that, this is fantastic toy with a lot of details as well, and I really like the sounds. This is a great job by Hasbro, who had taken over the official license for to create Jurassic Park toys after they acquired Kenner between The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. And I'm very glad I have the Pteranodon in my collection, both in box and of course loose as well for ultimate dinosaur playtime fun. Here's a close look on the Alpha Pteranodon. Its wings are a little bit bent, so you have to take care when putting this into storage that you do not bend the wings. They extend like that. You can fold them like this or extend them this. Unfortunately, the sounds do not longer work on this one. The batteries are dead. But you can see this is just like the other toys, a highly accurate screen replica, excellent job. And it does have no teeth, as the name suggests. You can open the beak, and the the wings flap when you push the button on its body like this, and you can also post the legs. It does have a small dino damage front on the right hand side, but it's not too disturbing. There was no new movie after Jurassic Park 3 for 14 years, but that didn't mean the toy franchise was dead. In fact, Hasbro tried to revive the franchise a couple of times, One of these attempts was in 2004, only 3 years after Jurassic Park 3, with a couple of repaints, such as this Pteranodon, which I really like. It had the same sounds like the Alpha Pteranodon from 2001. It's the exact same mold, but I have to say I like the coloring much more, actually. Look at that, folding out its wings. I like this golden and red color. This is a fun toy to swoop around with, like this, and attack other Pteranodons. I think I'm going to hang them on a thread, hanging from my ceiling, and have them soar over my Chronicle Collectibles 5th scale Tyrannosaurus Rex maquettes. This would look absolutely awesome, as these Pteranodons look highly realistic. And they're probably not too far off from real life Pteranodons either, from what I have been able to gather. And then in 2009, Hasbro, in cooperation with Toys R Us, tried to relaunch the Jurassic Park toy line once more with this retooled version of the Bull T-Rex that Kenner actually released in 1997 for the Lost World. Hasbro updated it with a completely new coloring scheme, which I don't like as much as the original Bull T-Rex. And they also gave it a plastic body. It's only the head that's rubberized. And it does have electronics. The button to activate the sounds is rather neatly integrated. I have to say, Hasbro did a really good job on the sounds, actually a much better job than Mattel does today. Hasbro always had the better speakers and the more realistic sounding audio files. It's really cool. And this Bull T-Rex was also able to move its legs and even its feet. This. You can see this is actually a really stable figure that you were able to pose in a lot of poses. But it's not the Stan Winston mold, as you can see, so I'm not actually a really big fan of this T-Rex. I like the Stan Winston models much more, since they are much more accurate to what I have seen on screen, and to me the toy has to be as realistic as possible. And then the last rather unsuccessful attempt by Hasbro to breathe new life into the Jurassic toy line was in 2015 when Fallen Kingdom released. And we got this. Another Tyrannosaurus Rex that looks great if you look at it from far away, but if you go close and check out its face, its head, then you can see, well, the level of detail is quite disappointing. I mean, it's not even the teeth that aren't the correct amount and correctly sized. No, what's even worse is the screw holes on the left-hand side of the entire figure, and this is absolutely a no-go. And I think that's what killed Hasbro ultimately in the attempt of reviving the Jurassic toy line. One positive thing is about this figure is at least the sounds. Now, Hasbro always used high quality speakers and to be honest, even better sounds than Kenner or even Mattel recently had. So there's at least one positive point, but of course it definitely wasn't enough for the toy line to continue under these circumstances. And so Jurassic Park and dinosaur fans around the world were so incredibly happy when in 2018 Mattel announced they had taken over the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World license. And my, oh my, what a treat for us dinosaur toy fans. This Mattel taking over the license was the best thing to happen, and it's not an understatement if I say that the golden age of dinosaur toys, like it was in the 1990s, is definitely back. And it's not only back, it is better than ever. What Mattel has released over the past 40 years. And there were not only lots of smaller dinosaurs, such as this Mosasaurus, great size. Another smaller dinosaur, that's the Triceratops up here, or we've got, of course, also a Stegosaurus, and the highly sought after Spinosaurus, the Legacy Collection Spinosaurus that of which the US release did not go very well, and it is such a valuable toy. Today they put them up online at midnight without any warning, and next morning they were gone, so this figure is worth a lot in the US, but distribution was much better in Europe. Can open its mouth like this. I like the red coloring across its sail and the top part of the head. Yet I would still say the animatronic Spinosaurus from 2001 is still my favorite. Could have gone a little bit closer to the Stan Winston Spinosaurus, but I'm sure Mattel will eventually get there. And on top of that you can see the Side's Roarin. Hope I pronounced that right. Now, what Mattel also did was, of course, to capitalize on the fame of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And of course we cannot blame them. And most of all, take a look at the showstopper they released in 2018, pretty early after they acquired their franchise, and it's the largest T-Rex toy to date, the Super Colossal T-Rex, which released in two different versions, a regular and a Roarin battle damage version. The latter I am showing you in episode number 89, so go check out that. But look at that, look at this. Bad boy, look at the head sculpt. Isn't that amazing? I mean, wow, do I need to say more? Look at that. This is the dinosaur toy that we had back in 1993 when we were kids, and were both fascinated and terrified when we first saw the T-Rex on screen. So the T-Rex simply has to be dominant. It has to be the dominant toy of every toy collection, and Mattel really outdid themselves when they released the Super Colossal T-Rex. It came in two variants. One is the battle damage Roarin version that you see here. And it does roar when you lower its lower jaw all the way. And look at that massive bite. And you can even put smaller dinosaurs into its mouth. You can actually feed it and then retrieve the feathers from a flap underneath. And you can pose it in three different ways, like this, a roaring position, and regular like this, and a hunting position, hunting pose like this. I mean, wow, and look at that, look at its head. It's also really close to the Stan Winston Maquette, and of course the other version as well, the which does not come with any electronic features and no battle damage marks. This is T-Rex. How I always wanted him to be the same model in my collection. And look at that. These are heavy figures, but still a lot of playtime fun. Wow. I'm simply out of words for them. See the tongue, the teeth, the eyes are really nice. More than 40 inches long. And this is the largest official Jurassic Park toy that is available until now. The largest T-Rex toy. So this is. I can even excuse that they didn't paint the arm claws, and that its feet are a little bit too big compared to the rest of its body. But that's what makes the figure more stable. So it stands better. You can actually see they didn't mirror the legs. There's two different modes. So it actually it's actually in a walking position. That's downright awesome. And that wasn't the only large-scale dinosaur that they released. Mattel went full steam ahead, and we got a toy that we had to wait for almost 3 decades long, and that's the Legacy Collection Brachiosaurus. Look at that. It stands 28 inches tall, and it's almost 40 inches long. It's almost as long as the T-Rex. The Super Colossal T-Rex, and look at that, it's exactly what we have seen in Jurassic Park in the first movie. And finally there was a huge officially licensed Brachiosaurus toy. Deserves a close look as well. Look at this, the mouth opens, the face is highly authentic, and you can pose the figure real nicely. The neck lowered, legs are poseable. It even stands like this. But you cannot wear on its legs, what we have seen in the movie. Like this, unfortunately, that doesn't work. Doesn't stand like this. But still, finally got a Brachiosaurus after 28 years waiting for one. A large-scale Brachiosaurus. I mean, wow. Also one of the earlier large-scale Mattel toys was the Mosasaurus, the dinosaur that's actually not a dinosaur, but a reptile, fantastically sculpted, with a mouth that opens, perfect eyes, and a crocodile-like skin, and it's got the fins and everything. Wow. Wow, I mean, just wow, this is fantastic. Another fantastic toy that's so much fun to play and display. The Mosasaurus wasn't the largest animal to ever live in the water. That award still goes to the blue whale. The Mosasaurus was actually only half the size of a blue whale, but look at that. Still a super cool figure. Even though it's, this one is not scientifically correct. Its jaw would have been much shorter compared to the length of the body. So this one is more screen accurate rather than scientifically accurate. Look at this mouth, the eyes. Let's see if he's still hungry after he has already eaten today. Alright, definitely. It could bite a T-Rex in its neck if the T-Rex would live in the water. Oh, I could play for hours like this. You can see the 4 fins, these are accurate. Tail, unfortunately that connection is, it's not that even. It's too bad. And it's also not suitable to use in the pool, although I still sometimes do that because it's just way too cool not to play with it. But it's hard getting the water out of its body. You have to make sure that you dry the figure properly after each use in the water. It does make a nice display. You can adjust the fins like that, and then you can have it look up like this, or you display it like this, simply like that. And that's a mostly rubberized figure. It's nice to see. You don't see that very often nowadays. Almost all of the newer dinosaurs are plastic, not rubber. Rubber gives it a much more realistic look. Oh, look at that, like in the movie. Would go like this. Woof. Wow. And could feed an entire great white shark at once. Now, isn't it fascinating what lived on our planet many dozen millions of years ago? Creatures like this. As dinosaurs, I can only repeat myself, dinosaurs are highly fascinating. And the most recent release as part of their of Mattel's large-scale dinosaurs was the Apatosaurus. This was one of the largest ever animals to live on land, and it shows. The figure is pretty much the largest. Yeah, it's slightly longer than the super colossal T-Rex, well over 40 inches. And look at that sculpting as well. The head, and it's also got 4 posable legs. This is a fantastic toy as well. And at around $50. These are all, I would say, pretty affordable, and considering the authentic sculpt and everything that we can enjoy in these large-scale figures. Head that can be posed, the neck goes to the left and right as well. The legs can be posed. Let's put it on my table. The table is here for a reason. Like this. It's actually not in scale with the Tyrannosaurus Rex, with the super colossal one. T-Rex was significantly shorter than Apatosaurus. I'll give you the exact numbers in the respective episode where I unboxed the Apatosaurus. But Apatosaurus and the Brachiosaurus, they are in scale. These two toys are in scale. Sadly not with the T-Rex. T-Rex would actually be smaller compared to the Apatosaurus, or the Apatosaurus would need to be even longer in order to match the T-Rex in scale. Well, look at that. Isn't it fantastic dinosaur for display and play? Why didn't we have something like this during the 1990s when everyone was crazy about dinosaurs? I think the golden age of dinosaur toys really is back with products like these two. And this is so good to see that a new generation of kids is introduced to these fantastic creatures that roamed our Earth over 65 million years ago. A quick look at some of these smaller Tyrannosaurs that Mattel released. The Chronicle was, if I remember correctly, one of the earliest T-Rexes that they released. Quick look on the Chronicle. Unfortunately, the batteries in them die rather quickly, but I can show you the movements. You move the tail, and then the head and mouth moves accordingly. It's actually a nod to the 1997 Thrasher T-Rex called Thrash and Throw, and it was actually, well, pretty much the same. It doesn't roar anymore because the battery is about to die. This was one of the first smaller T-Rexes. Another one was the Buy and Fight Tyrannosaurus Rex without an electronic feature, but with a super thick head move.
Unsere SF-Wirtschaftsredaktion wird Ihnen Geld machen.
Now that's all about dinosaur playtime fun. Lots of fun when you want to play out attack scenes. They already improved the head sculpt a bit even closer to the Stan Winston Maquette. And look at this sick head move. Look at how nicely the buttons on his body are integrated into the figure, so they are hardly visible. That's the sick head move. The head thrusts to the right and the mouth closes. And the tail moves as well. It's actually activated with the rear button, like this. They released the most recent Tyrannosaurus Rex, and that was for the start of Camp Cretaceous in September 2020. And you can see that's really close to the Stan Winston maquette, the head sculpt. If you compare it with what's behind me, which is a recast of the Stan Winston maquette, and then take a look at this toy. Look at how the eyes are done, the mouth, the face in general, and coloring is really, really nice. And it's got a cool feature. It's also a neatly hidden button in its tail. Did you notice the head vibrating and shaking like mad? That's really cool. Wow. For such a smaller scale figure, this is amazing, and I really like how accurate it is. Also the legs and feet are posable. And I actually like it so much that I kept one in the box. I mean, it looks really cool boxed with the box graphics and everything, and the pose. And this is simply next to perfect. I mean, it's really recognizable as a Stan Winston Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is awesome. And also for Camp Cretaceous, they have released a Spinosaurus. It's actually the same length like the animatronic Spinosaurus back in 2001. But it doesn't have an electronic feature or anything. But still, this looks fantastic, especially in the box. I like how the tongue springs up when you open the mouth. The teeth are done really nicely as well. You can move the tail, and it's also rather usable. See, it stands very nicely. And you can attack other dinosaurs very easily with that. As you can see, its mouth actually can touch the ground, and yet it still stands. And there I am again, and that was already it. Thank you so much for sticking not only through this episode and share some dinosaur playtime fun with me, but also thank you so much for watching all the episodes of this Jurassic July month. I really enjoyed making them for you, as all these Jurassic toys mean so much for me, and there's so many childhood memories connected with some of them, and I'm glad the golden age of dinosaur toys, of Jurassic Park toys, will continue with Mattel. I'm sure will release many more great toys, and I simply cannot wait what else there is in store. I recorded this video back in April 2021, and I'm already looking forward to receive the Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex and Ford Explorer playset by Mattel. So unfortunately I was not able to feature that just yet in this episode, but once it gets into my home, I will do, of course, a separate episode on it. And so if you're a Jurassic Park fan, stay tuned to my channel. I know there's a lot more to come from Mattel, and I'm so looking forward to it. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.